It's part of a bigger picture. And by the way, I'm not exact. Everything in the Old Testament, from Israel's 40 years in the desert, for Jesus' 40 days in the desert. Real quickly, I'll tell you what I mean. If you read Numbers 13, 31 and 33, you guys go back and note this because I'm not going to go into it. It's too long. We can do other sessions. Numbers 13, 31, 33. Numbers 14, 33 and 34. God says to Israel, you're going to stay in the desert for each day. It took the 12 spies to scout the land of Canaan. If you go to Numbers 13, God sends out 12 spies from each of the 12 tribes. It took them 40 days to scout return. But because there were giants and Anakim in the land, they got afraid. Only 2 of the 12 spies were bold, Caleb and Joshua. So don't be afraid. God will hand them. They started whining and crying and weeping. So you know what their punishment was? It's in Numbers 14, 33, 34. He says, for each day it took you to scout the land, you're going to stay in the desert a year until this generation dies and your children will enter, not you. Isn't it amazing? No one from that first generation, not even Moses, Aaron, Miriam, they all died in the desert, entered the land except Joshua and Caleb.
Wow.
Moses died, was buried. Aaron died. Miriam died. They all died except Joshua and Caleb. Their children grew up. They entered as punishment. But now, if you're listening, why did they stay 40 years in the desert? Because it took 40 days to scout the land, a day for a year. Now, is it ironic? Israel's 40 years is Jesus' 40 days in the desert. He went into the desert, wilderness, to do what Israel failed to do. In the desert, they failed God. But this Son of God succeeded.
Amen. Yep.
See how he's now recapitulating it? In fact, if you think I'm exaggerating, because I know you want more dessert because you love ice cream with syrup. Here you go. I want you to see what verse Jesus quotes to prove it. I want you to see what verse Jesus quotes to prove. He's telling you, look, I am reliving what Israel did, but where they fail, I succeed. Here, I want you to see. Okay? Deuteronomy 8, 1 of 5. The entire commandment, pay attention to 3, I'll read it for you, that I'm commanding you today, you shall be careful to do, that you may live and multiply and go and possess the land which Yahweh swore to give to your fathers. You shall remember all the way which Yahweh your God has led you into the wilderness these 40 years, that he might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. And he humbled you and let you be hungry and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by everything that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Now remember this part, gentlemen. This part. Your clothing did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. Thus you shall know in your heart that Yahweh your God was disciplining you, just as a man disciplines his son. So how is he treating them? As a father treats a son to train up his son, discipline his son to be strong, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So now, why 40 years? That he might make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by everything that proceeds out of the mouth of God. So there are 40 years, 40 days. A year for each day it took them to scout the land. 40 days, 40 years. Numbers 13, 31, 33. Numbers 14, 33, 34. Now watch Jesus. Matthew 4, 1 of 4. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he then became hungry. The tempter came and said to him, if you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man, he just quotes Deuteronomy 3 and applies it to himself, shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Why did he just quote Deuteronomy 8:3? That's what he just quoted, dude. And he applied it to himself because he's reliving the experience of Israel.
Yep.
Slave Adonai, you see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even email me if you want your wife to talk to me sometime this week. Here it is. I'm going to give it to you. In other words, Jesus is doing what Israel failed. He's Israel and he succeeds. They're Israel, they failed. He is the true Son of God who conquers, whereas that Son of God failed. And he does this all the time. All the time.